Everyone knows this, right? Fire is burning. You throw water on it. Fire goes out. End of story. But here's the weird part. If water kills fire, why does oil fire explode when you add water? Why do firefighters sometimes avoid water entirely? And why can fire keep burning inside water in some situations? If water's job is to kill fire, why doesn't it always work? So what's actually going on here? Because the truth is, water doesn't really kill fire. Not the way we've been taught. And once you see why, a lot of everyday things suddenly make way more sense. Growing up, most of us learned a very simple explanation. Fire is hot. Water is cold. Cold beats hot. So water wins. It feels right. You touch fire, it burns. You touch water, it cools. So naturally, we assume water puts out fire because it cools it down. But if that were the full story, any cold thing should work just as well. Ice should be amazing at stopping fires. Cold metal should do the trick. Even cold air should work instantly. But they don't. You can wave cold air at a flame all day. It keeps burning. You can drop ice near fire. It melts. Fire stays. And yet, a splash of water can end everything in seconds. So clearly, cooling alone isn't the magic. There's something missing from the explanation. Here's the most common explanation people give. Water removes the heat, and fire needs heat to survive. That sounds logical. Fire needs heat. Water absorbs heat. End of discussion. Except, fire doesn't just need heat. Fire needs three things at the same time. Remove any one of them, and fire collapses. Heat is one. Fuel is another. And the third, the one we almost never talk about, is oxygen. And this is where the misunderstanding lies. Because water's real superpower isn't that it's cold. It's what happens to water after it touches fire. When water hits a flame, something dramatic happens that you can't see easily. Water doesn't stay water for long. Fire is so hot that the water instantly turns into steam. And when water turns into steam, it expands violently. One drop of water becomes a cloud. That expansion does two critical things at once. First, yes, it absorbs a massive amount of heat, way more than most materials can. This weakens the fire. But second, and this is the part most people miss, that steam pushes oxygen away. Fire is basically breathing. It's constantly pulling in oxygen from the air. When steam suddenly rushes in, it crowds that oxygen out. No oxygen, no fire. So water isn't just cooling the fire. It's suffocating it. Imagine fire as a runner on a treadmill. Heat is the speed. Fuel is the energy drink. Oxygen is the air they're breathing. Water doesn't just slow the treadmill. It pulls the air out of the room. That's why water works so well. And this also explains why water sometimes makes things worse. Take an oil fire. Oil floats on water. So when you pour water onto burning oil, the water sinks below it. Then the water flashes into steam underneath the oil. The steam expands explosively, and it throws burning oil everywhere. More fire. More oxygen. Bigger problem. Water didn't fail because it wasn't cold enough. It failed because it couldn't block the oxygen properly. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Fire doesn't actually live on the fuel you see. Wood doesn't burn directly. Gasoline doesn't burn directly. What's burning are invisible gases released by the fuel when it's hot. Fire is a chemical reaction happening in the air. So when water turns into steam and floods that space, it interrupts the reaction itself. That's why mist systems, tiny droplets, not big splashes, can stop massive fires. More surface area, more steam, less oxygen. This also explains something strange you've probably seen. Why does blowing on a small flame sometimes make it stronger? You're adding oxygen. But blow too hard, and you blow the flame out entirely. You remove the hot gases faster than the fire could replace them. Fire is surprisingly fragile. Now comes the moment where everything clicks. The real question isn't, why does water kill fire? The real question is, how does water steal fire's ability to exist? And the answer is, by changing the environment around it. Fire isn't an object. It's a process. And water shuts that process down by attacking it from multiple sides at once. Cooling it, crowding it, and cutting off its air supply. Once you see fire this way, a lot of things suddenly make sense. Like why firefighters use foam instead of water for fuel fires. Foam blankets the fire and blocks oxygen completely. Or why fire can burn underwater in special experiments. Because the fuel brings its own oxygen. Or why steam burns are sometimes worse than fire burns. Because steam carries heat and spreads fast. Water didn't change. Your understanding did. So next time you see water put out a fire, don't think of it as cold, beating hot. Think of it as a hostile takeover. Water walks in, expands, steals the heat, kicks out the oxygen, and leaves fire with nowhere to survive. Fire doesn't get defeated. It gets evicted. And that's the part most people never realize. Thank you so much for watching. If this video changed the way you think, even a little, then it did its job. Everyday things aren't always as simple as they look, and that's what Ordinary Explained is all about. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button. It really helps more curious minds find the channel. Subscribe for more videos that take ordinary questions and uncover the surprising science behind them. And before you go, what everyday thing do you think you understand, but probably don't? Drop it in the comments. You might see it explained in the next video. See you in the next one.